when we're so hyper focused on correction, we really lose our actual voice. And what actually connects with clients and audiences is you being your absolute authentic self.
Welcome to Women Thrive podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
So, hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. I am your host today. I have got a bit of a squeaky voice today, so please bear with me. But the good news about today's podcast is, as always, our wonderful guest is going to be doing the majority of the speaking, and her voice is absolutely fine. In fact, this is one of the things that we're going to be speaking about today. We're going to be speaking about really finding your voice, really having that genuine self-expression, and being able to write and speak actually creatively and authentically. So I would love to introduce you to our guest today. Her name is Dr. Shana Hartman. She's a former university English professor turned embodied writing coach. She helps heart-centered business owners and thought leaders share the core messages from their life and career experiences in powerful books by using an embodied writing approach that allows people to truly experience their transformative words. Shana, it's so lovely to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm always really interested when we have incredible guests like you on our show, just to hear a little bit about, not just about what you do, but why do you do it? Like, what got you to being in this profession and to help others write their stories?
Yeah. So as you kind of shared, my background is as a university English professor. So I knew pretty early on that I wanted to teach. And the subject was very clear. It was going to be English. But oftentimes, English teachers or English professors step into that field because they have a love of literature and reading, which I do. I love reading. And the thing that got me was really writing. And I can remember having my own little journal or things like as far back as like primary, elementary school, and just using it as a space for me. And then along the way, I would maybe write or do something in school that would kind of get some attention or get praised by a teacher or whatnot. But I do also have some fun stories of a couple of teachers who I distinctly remember them approaching writing as like, no, what you did was wrong. We've probably all had a paper come back, an assignment come back, and it's just covered with red marks or corrections and whatnot. And I distinctly remember thinking, no, that's not what writing is. It's not just to get it right, correct. It's about expression. It's about our voice and exploring that, and it's messy. So that was kind of like, I can do this better. Kind of a thing that led me to entering into kind of academia and teaching at the college level. And even after being a tenured professor, I just remember feeling the bug, the pull towards entrepreneurship and business ownership. And kind of around 2020, 2021, had the aha of, why am I not supporting people with their writing outside of academia? And things kind of grew from there.
It really resonated with me actually when you said about we can get so hung up on the language, the grammar, the structure of sentences. I remember when I first started my business and I was writing a lot more and posting on social media, I was really paranoid about, I can't make any mistakes. Like I need to make sure I read it about 10 times. And I know that there is an element of that to be credible, but also I do believe that sometimes just really focusing on that can block creative expression. Certainly that's what I feel for myself and my own experiences. I just wondered what your thoughts were on that.
Absolutely. I think if we're coming to a writing task or a communication task, whatever it may be, speaking, engaging with someone using our words, and we're coming at it from immediately from a place of, I've got to get this right, I've got to be correct, it will automatically put you into, you will be outside of yourself. You will be coming from an external place versus we've all probably had as business owners that moment of like, I should share this. This should be an email. This should be a blog. This should be a social media post. And you get that fun, juicy hit. And then if you go to your device and start typing and then immediately start critiquing yourself, censoring yourself. Oh, can't say that. Oh, is this the right word? Oh, did I use a comma in the right way? Right. You can slowly, that energy just will just disappear. And so when we're so hyper focused on correction, we really lose our actual voice. And what actually connects with clients and audiences is you being your absolute authentic self. So I love people who use words that are from where they're from or from their family or whatnot, even if it is not, quote, a grammatically correct word. Oh, I love
Oh, we're celebrating. We're celebrating that. Where's my balloons?
that's right. Zoom. I still haven't figured out how that works on Zoom, but I love when it happens. Yeah, so I just think it's a disservice to ourselves and to our messages that an audience, a regular person is just sitting there waiting to hear some authentic voice. And if all they're seeing are these perfectly pruned and curated words and ideas, it's like, oh, well, where's the space for me in this? Who am I supposed to connect with? Everybody's just got it all perfect and right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think we're humans buying from humans, aren't we?
Yeah,
At the end of the day. So it's so important to really be able to express ourselves authentically.
absolutely. Hmm.
Talk about in when I introduced you at the top of the show, you're talking about an embodied writing approach. I'm assuming that's got something to do with this, but I'd love to know more.
Yeah. So when we think about, I am a certified body mind coach and a previous English professor. And when I bring those two sort of together, when I think about writing and supporting others in sharing their words, I literally think about our hands as kind of being a connection between our heart and our head. And it's just sort of a silly way, but if we think about that, then the words are just an extension of the experiences, the feeling that we're trying to communicate to an audience. And when we come from it from that way, we are literally in our bodies and right from that place, or just start exploring our ideas from that place. Again, it just has a very different feel and approach. And the writing winds up being just more authentic, more yourself, and just amazing and beautiful. So I support, we do a lot of things closed eye moments. Some people might call it a meditation, but when I'm working with my clients, I really ask them to get connected to themselves, to their body. And we love to coach the writer just as much as the writing. So the work that we do and the work that I do, I know I can get your words to sound amazing and sound like you and all of that. But I also need to make sure that you're experiencing yourself in your words and coaching you through all of the things that often show up when we are being seen, when we are putting ourselves out there, because a lot of stuff shows up, as we've already talked about, when we're sharing our words. And so I think what makes us unique in that embodied approach is we are coaching the writer and the experiences they're having as they journey through writing their books or sending out their messages to the world, as well as much as the writing. And are things making sense? Is it flowing? All that kind of stuff.
I really love what you've just shared there. All of us have email lists, right? I would think that most of us, if we are running a business, founders, entrepreneurs, business leaders, we have an email list. We certainly, of course, have an email list here at Women Thrive. If I can use my own experience personally from writing emails to my list, I can see such a huge difference between the days where sometimes I might not be as connected in to my audience as I'm writing. It might be that I'm just like, I need to get this newsletter out, or there's something that I need to promote. And the difference actually between that and when I can really sit down and really
Mm.
connect in with my audience and write a message that really comes from my heart, the responses are so different to that. It's such a beautiful practice. It's like you say, it's not just the writing, it's also how you feel, like it's connecting with yourself, connecting with your soul and with their souls as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we are messaged beings. We are meant to communicate. We are literally, our brains are programmed as soon as we're born to receive language, whatever language we're born into. And we are also, designed to express ourselves through language. And it's interesting once we go through our schooling process and then become business owners, how we get so far away from just that idea of, I'm just a human and sharing a message. And as long as it's coming from me in a genuine and authentic way, then I trust that it's going to reach the audience in the way that it needs to. Unfortunately, we have seen, and I think we're coming out of it, thankfully, a lot of kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of bro marketing ways. And here's the template, and here's the things that you have to have in order to XYZ, right? Get the open rate, get the click rate, all that sort of stuff. And it really takes that humanity out of it. And it doesn't mean that we don't need to pay attention to some of those ideas, because there are conventions and understandings and expectations of, say, like you're talking about an email. And at the same time, you're also sharing, when I shift from performative writing that I think I should do in order to get that guaranteed outcome, to more authentic, more Abigail writing, you get better results. You get more authentic results in return. You get more aligned results, right? Because I could have a 50% open rate, but if no one responds to it, versus maybe it's a lower open rate, but I get 2 or 3 people genuinely replying, which I received this as well, going, I read every email. I love everything you're saying. Like, and I'm like, that's why, that's the goal. That's the intention. While they may be a client already, or they may not be a client yet, or maybe I've talked, that's my intention for those things. And that's an embodied approach, because you're really getting connected to the alignment. And if you're creating writing from a place of, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I have to do in order to fill in the blank, whatever outcome or desire you have, there's going to be some friction. It's going to feel icky at some point, versus finding the ways that really work for you, your process for getting those messages and those ideas and words out into the world. It's going to feel it's not easy. It doesn't mean there's not effort, but there's going to be more ease, I promise, when we come from it in that way.
Yes, more ease in our business all day long, please.
Thank you. Please. Yes.
So much easier. We were talking actually before we hit record about the fact that the majority of us, if we run a business, are writers. We write. We write blogs, we write emails, we write social media posts, but very few of us will call ourselves writers. And when you said that, I was like, oh my goodness, yes. Seriously, yes.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I feel like I can say this because I come from education. It really is our education. There can sometimes be, if you didn't have a traditional school setting, it can sometimes be a family member or something like that. But I love to always do this kind of exercise when I'm working with people, getting to know them, or at a workshop, is like, think about a moment when you've been made very aware of your language. And oftentimes a memory that will pop up is usually a not so great memory, like it was a negative one. So I'm in the United States, I'm in the Southern United States, in the state of North Carolina. And so oftentimes our accents and the way we say things, or the words that we choose to use, if I'm in a different place, can come across because of stereotypes and media and all that kind of stuff as not sounding intelligent or put together or whatever the case may be, right? So there's moments I can remember. The moment that's popping up right now is my college roommate, her boyfriend. I was the one that did, like, this is going to age me, voicemail recording on our phone. You're welcome. We'll explain that for those of you who need an explanation of what that is. But the actual tape recorded voicemail thing. And I was the one that did it. And he was from New York. And so he would always make fun of me the way I would say our names. You've reached so and so and so and so and so and so, and please leave a message. And he every time he would talk to me or see me, he'd be like, "Oh, I love your message, Shana," in a Southern, mimicking me. And it made me very aware of my language. And that's something that impacts me. So when we have those, and a lot of us have a lot of those moments, a lot of those stories or histories. I'd be curious, Abigail, if anything shows up for you around that. But where we have maybe been told the way we wrote, the way we spoke, anything around our communication was not proper, not correct, not right, that sticks with you. And so you add up all these little stories about who we are around our language. And then you fast forward to being a business owner where you have to do all this writing, right? Like you said, the emails, the social media, the landing page copy, the messages to current or potential clients, the program content, all of those things, you're writing your butts off. And yet you don't feel like a writer because of those previous stories. Whether you are conscious of it or not, it's actually probably impacting, like we've been talking about, how you're coming to the table, how you're approaching your messaging. And it's really interesting what gets to shift when you kind of start to let go of some of those stories and patterns and start to embrace the fact that, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm a writer. I write every single day, all the time. Huh. Just notice how your posture might change. Notice how you would approach your next writing task if you go to it thinking, yeah, I'm a writer. I'm a business owner that writes. Writing is my business, is a part of my business. Yeah.
It's really interesting that you were talking about your Southern accent, which I think is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
And it's interesting, isn't it, in different cultures and different countries that might have a different concept. Like, I would never have thought that. And I would
Right.
never have thought that that might have been an opinion of people that have got a Southern North American accent. I'm over this now, but I remember I used to feel very, with my British accent, I used to feel very, just a little bit too proper and buttoned up, just a little bit too Mary Poppins. And also because a lot of my clients are from America, I used to think, well, if I say this word, they're not going to know what it is. So I'm going to use the American word for it. It wasn't authentic because that's not how I speak.
Right.
It's trying to kind of accommodate for that. And then in the end, I just thought, you know what? They know I'm British.
Yes.
My audience aren't stupid. They know I'm British. And if they don't know what the word is, they can go Google it and they'll know it anyway, because my American coaches that I follow, I don't think, oh, that's what's that word? I don't know what that word is.
Right.
I think once you start to drop with everything, right?
Yes.
Once you start to drop worries about opinions of others and can genuinely be yourself and authentically be yourself, then that's when you can really step into that next level of authenticity, really, for one of the word.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you knew that the right people were going to respond in the aligned, in integrity ways to you, what would you love to say? What would you love to put out on your next social media post? What would you love to, do to your website copy or your next program offering or whatever? That, like, I can even feel the energy in my body just shift when I start to ask that question of myself. And it's not that we ignore the audience, because obviously we need them. They're going to be who we're speaking to or responding to or sharing our messages with. But when we drop, like you're saying, that level of the audience dictates what I think my perception of the audience, because that's all it is what we think our audience is and wants. When I start to drop that a little bit and just tap into instead, and y'all can't see me doing this, but I'm closing my eyes and like literally visualizing dropping down into my heart, my gut, my soul. When I drop down into that and like, here's what I wish everybody understood about fill in the blank, this thing that I do and offer and bring to the world. Here's what I wish people really could get. Here's the one thing that if people just did this, it would really like, and just owning that and just saying it in the way that you would say it, in the way that feels authentically you, using all your beautiful, amazing British words, whatever they may be, using all my amazing Southern words, whatever they may be, something your family would say. And same with the ways you talk about things, telling your stories, telling your story, and using that to support yourself. We often think we need to keep those separated, but that's like, because we're shifting away from that kind of shiny object, bro marketing, people are becoming more discerning. Our clients, potential clients, are becoming more discerning and they want authenticity. They want to feel like they're seeing themselves in the work that we're doing and the work that they're investing in.
I completely agree. And we have conversations about this all the time at Women Thrive.
Yeah.
Savvy, they're switched on now.
Yep.
Personal development industry, the coaching industry has been around for a long time now. And I think people, you're right, people are completely over the bro energy. And of course, there's still people out there that are attracted to that. That's absolutely fine. But actually, would you want to work with people that are attracted to that? A very, very, very dear and wise mentor once said to me, writing, speaking, marketing, any kind of promotion is just as important to repel
Yes.
the unideal clients than it is to attract the ideal clients. So
Absolutely.
who are you trying to attract, but equally who are you trying to repel? Because I know very well who I want to repel within my business. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people.
No.
It means that they're not the right clients for me. I'm not going to be able to help them. They're not at the right level for me to be able to help them. We might not necessarily share the same values or views. So someone else can go and they can go and work with someone else. So I'm very aware of that within my language.
Yeah. And I think that's an important for anyone listening who's maybe early stages of their business and just starting to acquire those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients and really starting to find what they want to do and how they want to show up in their business in the world. I think that's I'm so glad you said that, because the no's, the misalignments, like, are ultimately going to save you time, energy, and money in the long run. And the more you can just trust that you are not meant to work with everyone. And so how do you get to translate that? Just like you're saying, what do you get to say in your messages, in your writing, so that it becomes really clear for the people who want to raise their hand and go, yes, I hear myself in that. Maybe different story, different circumstances, but like you're saying, I'm hearing those values, I'm hearing those aligned pieces. And equally, you want the people who you want to be very clear, you want to be very you, so that those people who are not aligned just continue trucking and go on to the next person where they are going to be in alignment. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you said that.
absolutely. And I think that's why it's so important for us to really own our values, like understand what our
Yes.
values are and own them. So in every written, spoken word that they can come out.
Yeah.
Me.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I do silly things on social media. If you follow me, like, I dance, I just do fun things, but that's because that's part of who and how I am. I post silly captions, and that's intentional because I have a playfulness about me, and it helps me communicate that I am not a grammarian. I'm not gonna come in and slash your words apart. I'm gonna make sure the reader can read it. But that doesn't necessarily mean following the quote rules, which we can get into a whole thing about the rules don't make sense. They literally don't make sense. They were adopted from a different language, just FYI. We use Latin rules for English language for those of you who are English speaking, and it makes no sense. So I intentionally do those things. Again, that's part of the vibe is like, okay, I want people to know who they're getting before we ever potentially get on a discovery call and talk to my team or anything like that. Absolutely.
Shana, we were talking earlier about the fact that you also have these amazing anthology books, these
Yeah.
co-authored books that you also produce within your business, the same as when we do here at Women Thrive. Could you share a little bit more about that? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, we're really deepening into this. One of our offerings is our collaborative books, and we've been doing one a year for the past couple of years. And we really were like, there's just such opportunity here. And there's so many people who know they want to write, know they love there is still just such power and street cred in having a published book and having your words outside of you in a bound or ebook of some sort. It's just a really powerful tool to really expand your visibility. Even if what you publish or write about is not necessarily exactly what you do, that I just want to encourage everyone around that. But when people are like, I know I want to write, but the idea of a whole book is like, oh, that's a little too much. That scares me. And so the collaborative book is great because you're just responsible for a couple of pieces or a chapter or however it winds up getting structured. And what we loved in our experience is, yeah, we kind of approach it with an initial theme or topic as we were talking about our book last year, Unveiling the Secrets, an encyclopedia by women for women and those who love them. We really came in with just sort of a broad, like, what are the things that we had to find out as women on our own that people either maybe you had an auntie that like whispered it to you in the corner one day, or maybe you just discovered it and are like, why is no one talking about this? The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And so we kept it very broad, and it was really powerful to see what showed up once we started to put words down. Because I think one of the powerful things that also can support people, no matter what they're writing, but particularly with book writing and collaborative book writing, is you don't have to know. And you actually, I'll just go so far as say you can't know what you want to write about fully until you actually start writing. You can't know what you want to write about completely until you actually start writing. There's actually like a physiological brain thing going on that as you start to put words out in front of you, it shifts, right? How many times have you thought a word, started typing it or writing it, and then you've changed literally as you're doing it, right? Scratched out a word, deleted, all that kind of stuff. That's that beautiful recursive process. It's a back and forth. And once these words get outside of you, they really kind of take on a life of their own. And then when we're doing that in collaboration with others and hearing little snippets of what they're doing, it just this whole new thing starts to show up. So I love collaborative books because of that, like community that gets to be creative, this vibing off of each other that gets to happen, the inspiration that I get from hearing what somebody else is writing and working on. And it's not that you can't experience that because when you're writing your own book, because all of our people wind up doing writing days together and retreats and all of that, even if they're working on a solo book. But there's just something different and special. I'm sure you've experienced it too when it's a collaborative project of sorts. So we're continuing the Unveiling the Secrets theme, and I can't tell you what's going to show up yet because we're just getting started on our books that are coming out this year and next year. And I'm excited to see what wants to show up. Mhm.
That's fantastic, Shana. Yeah, there's something very special when the energies of women come together and
Mhm.
collaborate in that way, cooking up something really special, right?
Yeah, and like, can we just claim too? We are so in need of elevating these voices that have not been elevated in the world of publishing, in the world of book writing. Like I'm just, especially in personal growth, business strategy, self-help. I would just love for, and there's statistics on all of this that I don't have in front of me, but I would just love to change those covers. Like I am very sick of seeing a one particular type of person on those covers. And I just love with Women Thrive and hopefully the work we're doing with Synergy Publishing Group. We just want to elevate these unique and diverse voices who don't often get elevated and get the elevation that a book can provide. So I love that this connection is here and that you all are doing what you're doing. And yeah, I get very excited.
Me too. I know the type of person you're talking about on that book cover.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're done.
We're done. We're done with that. We're done with that. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today,
Thank
Shana.
you.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful vision, your creative work. So you mentioned on your social media that you do a lot of dancing. I think I need to head over there right now and check it out. Where's the best place for people to find you? Can you share a little bit more about where you are on social media, your website, etc.?
Yeah. So on Instagram, you can find me pretty easily at the Shana, Shana underscore and V as in Verna, my beautiful Southern middle name. You're welcome. I don't share that with everyone, so you're welcome. I would love to connect with you there. That's just a fun, easy way. And I'll follow you back and we can just have a conversation. That's great because there's all sorts of fun things going on and sharing there as well. And then we actually just started putting out a really fun, no cost free resource called the Embodied Book Writing Kickstarter. And so this is kind of a curation of a lot of different material from my podcast, and it comes with a workbook that you can fill in as you see fit. And that's just at shanahartman.com/writing kickstart all together. And I think we'll make sure that those links are in the notes and all of that good stuff. So those would be two great ways to just get connected and just start seeing what might show up as we connect.
Absolutely. Yes, all of those links will be in the show notes below. So whatever medium you're watching this on, just click on the links below and that will take you there. Shana, thank you. You have been such a pleasure to have a conversation with today. And thank you for bearing with me as my throat creaks. I don't know.
I'm super impressed. I'm super impressed. You did great.
We got there. We got there. Thank you for being our guest today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And thank you everyone for watching, for listening. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of the Women Thrive podcast. But for now, have an amazing day and we will see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.